Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Nico here, and this is episode 16 already of the road to Masters. Finally, getting a bit more success there in terms of rankings. And if you see me a bit happier than usual, it's because I just saw that we will be player 2, which I don't say enough is for me the best spot to start. So let us have a look at the tech row, the Imperium row, exactly what everyone is choosing before us, and then we will be able to make a bit of an informed decision, hopefully. So, troop transport, quite situational, but if we have a monopoly of the shipping track, interstellar shipping, should I say, could make sense to spam it 2 or 3 times. Detonation devices as LETO makes sense because you get a bit cheaper dreadnoughts thanks to his Landsrat popularity. Artillery does not cost much, could make sense if at some point we need to go to tech negotiation. Ooh, here we have some heavy hitters, especially Kwisatz. If you can get it early, that's insane value. It decreases in terms of power, let's say, with the rounds going by, but if you can get it early, like round 2 or 3, you can play it 2, 3, 4 times. It's insane. So let's see if we can maybe try to go for it. So here I'm looking basically at Leto, Yuna, and Armand. Armand, I mean, there is an Imperial Spy, but it's not really game changing or anything we really absolutely want, so snatching that is not that powerful. Yuna, we had a good game with her recently, but I feel like I want to go for a Duke. Leto is, if you watch some of my earlier videos, you might know that it's definitely my favorite leader, so let's try to bring him to some more success. We had, I think, 3 games with Leto up to now. 2 of them were wins, and the third one, I think, was second place. So we have quite a good success, and hopefully I'm not jinxing it right now by talking about it. So let's hope for a good first hand as well here. This is quite good. Still not ideal because we don't have any triangle for next round. But at least we have 1 faction space, not more, and a signaturing. This is very good. So we will not think too much about it, and it will be full space, given we can also go there next round as first player. Only problem then is basically interstellar shipping is a bit compromised, given we don't have any triangle available in our next hand. We could signaturing to Arakeen to get 1 card out of that deck, hopefully not a diplomacy. That would actually compromise it even further. But having only 4 cards in the deck means everything would be mixed back in, and we would again have a chance of maybe drawing a triangle. I was kind of hoping that someone else would go to a faction for the signaturing ability to come into play, but now that Imperial Basin was taken, it would mean spending the water on it as well. I'm not sure that's really something I would have wanted anyways. And regardless, nobody's going there, so I think we can just try our Arakeen play. But there is 1 card, I won't name it again to not jinx it, but there is 1 card we absolutely need to not draw. And that was not the card. To be honest, I was quite convinced we would end up drawing that card, but thankfully we did not. Let's jump in with 1 troop. We have a dagger, just also to potentially mess with Paul a bit. Maybe getting a spice or 2 out of it. interesting to see during her reveal turn, but quite sure Tessia didn't have any faction access in her first hand. So that doesn't happen only to us, obviously. Bad hands are a common disease among Dune players. But now we are 3 players with, oh well, only Tessia and me fighting for that third spot. Given she played 1 dagger here, but that she doesn't have any faction access, it's likely she has her second dagger in her hand. Oh, the voice is something I very much appreciate. For a 2-cost card, it's probably my favorite within the shadows, but right now the voice has more value because we would ideally want to build up a bit of persuasion in the deck for potentially one of those 2 big hitters to get in our deck. So let's see. Oh, and actually what is also very good with it is it adds 1 more triangle here, so we have 1, 2, 3, 5 card out of 7 that have a triangle access, and we will draw 1 out of those 7, so maybe interstellar shipping is still on the cards for us. How many liaison did he buy? 2. Okay. For some reason Tessia revealed 2 daggers? Oh, she bought the deck, right? Yeah, of course she bought that. I didn't even see it, so what jumped up instead of a disposal facility? Not really interested that much. But yes, she has artillery. And we get the triangle space. That is awesome. The only drawback with that early interstellar shipping is that it delays a bit our Swordmaster, and I'm still not quite sure yet if it's really worth it or if it's better to ignore it and go for a Swordmaster as early as possible. I think the answer probably lies a bit in between, and there's a bit of a balance between both, but yeah, not convinced. We have actually 6 persuasion, so a dagger there would bring us to 7. Not that far away from those heavy hitters, would have been a consideration for sure, but it won't happen now, and Paul is certainly a strong candidate to get those. With his abilities, both the signet and the passive abilities, he's usually quite a good leader for a high persuasion strategy, and we saw him going for a couple of Arrakis Liaison before, so I wouldn't be surprised that these 8 cards allow him to definitely buy probably Kwisatz over the full-scale assault, but I mean, both can be argued, but I think the Kwisatz is still much more powerful in most setups. Later in the game, definitely some arguments can be made for a full-scale assault instead, getting the dreadnought, those troops more combat-oriented and less need to draw it too many times, like 1 or 2 times and you're good, while the Kwisatz gets most of its value out thanks to several uses of it. Obviously, getting 4 agent turns in one round is quite insane. So let us definitely do the shipping track play. We won't recall it immediately anyways, even if that would give us enough Solari, which by the way doesn't, but Armand would be before us next round to get his. Actually, he will most likely get it now, but it doesn't really change much to us. What am I blocking? I think just the smuggling to mess a bit with our opponent's ability to get Solari can make sense. Another tech for Tessia troop transports. That's a bit of a strange play. She's quite far from, I mean a bit closer now, but still quite far from even triggering the troop, let alone using it several times right now, so I don't see much value in that. Chomerky, very good endgame obviously, but maybe a bit too early now to think about buying it. And we end up with 4 persuasion, which lines us up nicely for a firm grip, which I quite like. And that would probably mean we could try to prioritize a bit the alliance with the Emperor to try to get most out of its reveal abilities as well. Also given that usually the Emperor and the Bene Gesserit factions are a bit less popular in terms of spaces visited, let's say. So we can actually see it already here, some influence here, just one. Early still makes sense, but Bene Gesserit completely empty and Freeman still a couple. So Tessia pulling a surprise one over to Paul, probably quite disappointed in not getting the Kwisatz. But that means that both 8 cost cards are gone. Paul has an early Dreadnought, which is also a very interesting thing to have. Wow, that's quite a lucrative victory point just for 2 troops. A very nice investment from Arman. Yeah, given our absence of spies and our need for Solari here, we definitely just recall. We don't need to visit that last step. But maybe we even actually would try to go to smuggling first? Oh no, wait. Actually, Armin didn't go to Swordmaster last round, surprisingly. He's probably going now, so there's not much need for us to get to 7 Solari immediately. We could still try it, just in the off chance that for some reason Armin still doesn't want his 3rd agent. He probably chose not to go last round because he was last player. Oh no, he wasn't. But he, and in the end, kind of saw he was winning the conflict and might want to just push us all back 1 round for having the Swordmaster a bit later. But that would be quite, an unseen play. I haven't seen that before, and it is interesting. Should we draw that with a fall space at some point? It could make sense. Our signet ring is actually a bit complicated to play right now because we don't have the spies for it. We could go there. Yeah, I mean, let's spam the shipping track for now. Let's see, maybe we won't even go to interstellar shipping, but right now I still want to be in a position to go to Swordmaster if Armand for some reason still doesn't see the value in it. But let's see. I think we take it with the Emperor, as we discussed before. We could try to snatch an alliance there if that comes, yeah, in our plans. So let's still try to make it happen. So that's Tessia joining us in the clan of the players having access to interstellar shipping, but that was her first turn, so we still have the advantage there. But Paul will probably fight for that conflict and might have it by the end of this round as well, so we might not have shipping anymore next round. So yes, it was a bit of a wicked plan from Armand to delay probably our Swordmasters, which is a bit of a shame. I'd have liked taking it now, obviously. Should I instead go for a Menta? And then, oh no, actually she doesn't have any more agents, so I could leave myself a shipping for last round. Does it do something to me, although not quite sure. Maybe I should just go to shipping. But basically Menta plus full space afterwards makes me mix my deck into this, and it is quite an interesting and smaller deck, removing all of that, which in the end only contains Signet Ring, which can interest me, but right now, with my lack of spies, it's not the most important neither. So let's actually go for the Menta. How do we take the missing Stellari back afterwards, though, to get our third agent? Let's see. I think it can still work with a typically wealth, and we won't have shipping next round most likely because probably Paul will have it. So we can let it be for one round and focus on Swordmaster. We should have an Emperor access between Firm Grip and Diplomacy. Although Firm Grip, we wouldn't be able to use that effect, given we need it for the Swordmaster. An early reveal for Stilgar. Curious play. Let's... This is not the best draw, obviously. Should we actually just advance and recall? That would actually give us the Solari. No, I think we can play... we don't even need necessarily wealth. We could also just go smuggling if it's available, if shipping is taken. Let's make the most out of that track while we have it. I think it's best. 3, I think Death Commando. Its trashing ability we don't mind. Smuggler Scepter would be something good as well for next round if we can afford it. Paul has access as expected. Arakin and another victory point. We might want to try and play in that conflict with one agent. We have firm grip. Let's hope we can get to smuggling, because that would allow us to maybe use firm grip for the Swordmaster and use its ability. It seems we can. No other player is close to having the Swordmaster, so I don't have to use the voice necessarily. I could use False Space. Get a bit more persuasion. Doesn't hurt. Then again, I'll anyways be willing to visit the combat space, and maybe I would like to do it through the Fremen. So I'll go with the voice and still secure Swordmaster just to be safe. Let's we didn't have to actually. We had enough with the little solar we received from here, but I kinda like having enough already for maybe a High Council seat directly or a Dreadnought. We have a pretty impressive garrison here, but we kinda need to use it at some point still. I mean, definitely keep some of it for the later combats, but 7 is a bit of an overkill. It's a bit too hard to deploy anyways. And it barely leaves enough for a high combat space like Hayliner or so, given we have a maximum of 12 troops, so I have 5 left in my reserve. Paul sending in 1 troop blindly, not convinced by that. I think with firm grip we can take a bit of influence with the Fremen to get that unlocked. I mean, Siege Tower unlocked basically. Could make sense. And Bene Gesserit we will keep for a bit later in the game to just unlock that point and be done with it. Oh, a Swordmaster play with the Kwisatz Haderach, which is also quite valuable, to be fair. So a false space will give us another convincing argument in hand, which is good to get rid of, but also to potentially target the Smuggler's Scepter if it's still there by then. Although it is a good card, so I would expect it to be snatched right now. A Reverend Mother wouldn't be too bad, just for its reveal and for the agent icons. Faction accesses are good, although we don't really have other Bene Gesserit, so we wouldn't make... Oh, we actually have the voice, yes, here, but I mean, it's still quite complicated with just one Bene Gesserit to hope for the agent effect to be triggered. I think given Tessia has still 2 agents, but she can't do much actually. She has just 2 troops in her garrison, so she could send 2. Let's still play it quite safe and go to Hardy Warriors, because I'd like that point. Control is a nice little addition, but not really useful, but that victory point, kind of feel like fighting for it. I think we can put in 4, given our garrison is still quite strong. And that gives us the point with the Fremen, so we're quite well on track. We have for now a total of 6 influence, while other players, typically Tessia, has 3 only. Armand has 3 as well, and Paul has 4. And we have never used our signet ability actually, so it's solely due to, I mean, mostly to the shipping track to be fair, and to our 2 early visits to Fall Space, on top of what we just did right now. Oh. How did... he went to Hayliner. That's a pretty busy first visit. I mean, first combat I get involved in, and unfortunately it's not going as I would have hoped. I didn't see he had that much spice, to be fair. Probably a bit of a misplay from me. Anyways, it means we will most likely get 4 Solari, which we can find use for. Let's build up a bit our persuasion, I think, for later potential purchases of Spice Must Flow. Never hurts. So our next plans, I mean, definitely High Council and Dreadnought would be among the targeted spaces we'd like. We could also continue to spam a bit into Sir Shipping, given Armand is not there yet, and that just blocks Paul and Dessia from going there. Another tech? No, doesn't have the capacity. But then it would potentially allow us to maybe take a Chomer key or detonation devices maybe as well. But yeah, going during Armand's turn and our own would give us a full reset. I mean, full up and reset. And it could be something I'd be willing to do before round 7, basically. And then completely ignore it, most likely. That could actually also help us bumping a bit our Emperor faction here, and hopefully reach that alliance by round 7, maybe a bit before. Depends a bit what we draw, obviously. So, not exactly according to our plans. Armand made sure of that with the Hayliner. But that's just how it is. How did he earn his points? 2 points from conflicts. This is something we kind of need to pay attention to and try to prevent him from maybe getting this one as well, because that would start to be a bit too much. We have firm grip again. Only thing is, unfortunately, it doesn't allow to get the bump here, which we would like to, but we have to do without. So I think maybe the voice to interstellar shipping, blocking, is it a Dreadnought or High Council? Maybe a High Council rather. Because Dreadnought, I mean, if we can buy at the same time a tech, I wouldn't mind, but right now it feels a bit empty in my spice pockets. And probably our last card would be Well, Fedaykin Death Commando I would actually like, but the problem is we would need to trash from our hand. Let's see by the end of the round, maybe we wouldn't mind losing just one persuasion, given anyways we kind of plan on playing a firm grip, which actually has 0 persuasion, but we have quite a low persuasion hand right now. Well, it will change with the High Council actually, we will get to 6, but it doesn't do much for us. I mean, a Sardaukar Legion, we should be fine in terms of Emperor access with the firm grip. We don't really have much faction accesses, so this we need to kind of be aware of. We have the signet ring, which at some point we still hope to use a bit to maybe bump the Bene Gesserit. I mean, I've blocked the High Council, but maybe a Dreadnought is still of a better use right now. Because let's say we go to Kartag, for instance, as a third agent with Fedaykin Death Commando, or to any of those cities with a recruited troop, we could send in Dreadnought, 2 troops, hopefully win it. Maybe not, but even if we win it, our Dreadnought is just gone for 1 round, round 6, and which is not a money one, not an important one yet. So maybe we just go for a Dreadnought instead. Yes, I think I quite like that. Here, I think we just start, although that's the only one right now where we could use our signet ring ability at some point. So maybe we rather want to claim the Freeman Alliance? I think Tessia has a Chris knife, which makes it a bit easier for her to also get some passive bumps here. And she's removed just 1 token yet, so it's not like she would get that bonus snooper token bump if she goes here, but what do we want here? No, I think let's actually try it here. No one seems really that interested in that. No one can go to Hayliner, so let's try it there. It's a matter of 2 Solari, and bumping up 1 more is giving us 3, so we don't lose much, even if that alliance doesn't end up in our pocket. Still an opportunity cost. Oh, that's the Chris knife. And that's the second snooper token, which gives her water. Are we willing to draw a card with Arakin, or rather go to Siege Tower? I think Siege Tower, getting a bit of precious water back. And just, yeah, giving up on Persuasion this round, trashing Dune from our hand. Should be an okay play. I'm not a big fan of trashing from my hand, but there's no way I trash any of those 2 cards, because those are high persuasion cards. At least I mean, firm grip right now not, but in our ideal plan it should be. And even if it doesn't become it, it still has a good agent effect. I like it. So let us go with Death Commando to Siege Tower, trashing. Could trash itself, but I still like it as well with the reveal swords, especially given the number of liaison we have. So let's trash Dune from our hand. And let's commit. No one else did, so we should have a shot at it, although everyone still has one agent left, but not much in terms of garrison. Just Paul could do a Hardy Warriors and take one on us, but even if it's just second place right here, I don't mind. The second water is always useful. One spice for that signet ring potentially. We haven't picked up any spice yet during that whole game. Paul doing the Hardy Warrior play that we kinda talked about. How many Arrakis Liaison do we have now? We have one here in our hand and one here. So we could afford buying maybe a third one. Oh, another Hardy Warriors. But this one might not even overtake us. He might have daggers in his hands or an intrigue combat card. But as said before, we kind of hope that Armand is not winning that conflict because he already has a bit too many of those combat points. Because as seen here, two easy points on top, so he could be at 7 quite quickly. And we are not there for sure. We can have one more here, potentially. That brings us to 5. So we hope that Armand is not getting that one, because otherwise it's a serious lead he's taking on us. Okay, that's not too bad. Three daggers puts him in front of us. And he gets his spice must flow, obviously. It's not great. He got a lot of those uncontested points, extra points, let's say, on top of those normal faction points, and he seems to be getting another one unless no, Paul seems to not be in a position to contest it. So now that puts Armand in a serious lead. Which is not great. Oh, and we have no triangle access, which we kinda wanted for one last shipping. Also buying Chomerky potentially. That does not seem like it will be happening. Dagger to Dreadnought, maybe picking up a second Dreadnought could make sense. Or a Menta actually. We could do both Menta, Dreadnought, and maybe Diplomacy to either secure the alliance here or bring us closer to that one, or maybe bring us closer to the Bene Gesserit victory point. Yeah, let's take a Menta. We're all at step 2 here, which is quite funny to see. and which means it will most likely be a bit of a busy space now and maybe next round, just to clear that off before the important combats. I mean, technically next round is already an early combat, an important combat, but sometimes we're a bit late on the schedule. And this combat actually allows you to also clear it up potentially, so it could be an idea. I don't really want to lose my Dreadnought on that. I kind of want to keep a bit of garrison as well, so let's see. And we're the first player, although we have the Manta now, so we should still be the last one to play an agent. We might get something out of this. I think getting a Dreadnought, getting ready as much as possible for next rounds. I was thinking as well, diplomacy to full space to give us those 3, and then we could go to High Council instead, which would give us 7 by then. We'd still have 1 agent, reconnaissance, but we cannot really draw anything then. So maybe it's not something we'd like to do right now. But a Dreadnought I wouldn't mind. I think we want to pick one up. I mean, the second one. It should, I mean, with that garrison, there's just Paul and Tessia quite close to maybe a Hayliner, obviously. That's an interesting play. I don't think she needs to do it right now. She could have waited, like taking other contested spaces before using the Kwisatz. Usually Kwisatz is best used as the last agent. I mean, once all your agents are played, you can play that one as the 4th one, and it gives a bit of a surprise effect for more drama. I think it's the first time that she uses troop transports, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe second, but that shows it's not a very valuable deck, unless you literally pick it here for free, knowing you can already send some in. That makes a bit more sense already, in my opinion. So I think for us, secrets could make sense, although false space as well, to be fair, that gives us an immediate point. Secrets is still a bit far. I see a bit more value in an intrigue card right now. False space card I'm not a big fan of, so we can get that bump probably thanks to the shipping track. So let's take an intrigue card here. Yeah, it's not exactly what we need, at least not right now. At this point, yeah, we should be able to actually also take it thanks to the signet ring. So maybe next round, if it's available, we could do signet ring to smuggling or interstellar shipping and just get it done with both the Alliance and the Bene Gesserit point. That would put us to 6, and then hopefully competing for 2 VPs. We're still quite far from the goal, and Armand is dangerously close with here 1 point, here another one, brings him to 9. So I don't really like that position. We might have to fight for second for the breadcrumbs, but yeah, we can be surprised. Maybe he slows down, loses a bit this ability to win points easily, and that's us catching up. For us, I think now ideally a siege tab would make a lot of sense. Getting a second water, which will at some point allow us to maybe do a research station when we are in a position to target the spice must flow. And that would just allow us to bring in actually 2 dreadnoughts competing for second spot. If we don't win, they both come back. So yeah, that could be the value we see in those 2 dreadnoughts. fight for second place actually. First place, I mean. Do we want to do that? I think we can, because in the end those garrison troops, I can only send them out 2 by 2. So that one is a bit extra, and if it allows us to maybe not having to visit here, it saves us 1 agent turn, so it's a bit more value than I see in there. Although it would actually mean 1 dreadnought is gone for round 7. But counting on the fact that Tessia should be able to hopefully win it thanks to a Hayliner. Oh, well, she's doing it now. That's really not the smartest play. I mean, I don't know her deck, maybe she knows she won't have an access, and she's maybe just fully filling in her garrison, in which case I can understand the play, but if she fully commits here, it's not the more strategic play. Yeah, seems I called it right. Fair enough, if she sees that much value in that she completely ruins her chances at the next conflict. She's free to do so, obviously. What happened here? Oh, he retreated 1 troop here with Chani. Does he pick up a Chomerky here? Most likely. Not a big fan of that. Undoing. Maybe it doesn't work. He needs to do one after the other, probably. It is a Chomerky for him. Yeah. Minimic film. Something that could be useful. Typically, dagger tech negotiation, buying a minimic film makes 2 persuasion out of a dagger, so it is equivalent in the end as a high council. That can help. Oh, and he's lining up his 3 last points here, basically, thanks to this. And I hope my opponents see that and can maybe do something about it. Because, I mean, yeah, we cannot really... It's too much of a distraction. We already have 2 points hanging there, so we kinda need to do something about that. I think with our 4 persuasion, we're not gonna buy anything here. How much did she have? Oh yeah, undoing makes sense. Because I don't think she had much, right? Oh, yeah, no, she revealed nothing. He's setting himself up just for a 3rd place, which makes sense. He can earn probably another intrigue card out of it. Maybe digging for some endgame, which I don't hope he will get, but yeah, right now they wouldn't have that much value for him. They could still prepare for, especially corner the market. He's just 1 spice from away from doing something about that, so let's hope it doesn't get to that. So we have a signet ring, Dune the Desert Planet. That is very good. That's smart, and she'll be 1st player, so hopefully she can make something do something about it. Oh, well, I'm like, well, why not? But actually, we don't have any faction cards right now, so. And that is typically combat we would like to fight for 2 victory points. That's definitely something worth looking into. Does she take the alliance here? Hopefully yes. Okay, that's a good play. Something that needed to be done. I think for us, I mean, we kind of need to get that triggered as well for the alliance here, but I don't think it's a priority. Maybe a signaturing to research station, trying to line ourselves up for a spice must flow would be quite valuable. We can also trigger the signet ability for a point here. And then we will see what we draw first of all. And how close we are from a victory point with the spice must flow, but it seems the plan has been compromised. So we will probably just go to Carthage or Arakin. Do we still have a chance? I mean, we could go pick up that Minimic film with a signet ring, for instance. Seems he is fishing for a spice must flow. Thing is, research station I kinda liked because it gives us both quite some certainty about the spice must flow plus ability to send in some troops. While Minimic film is a bit of a waste of one agent turn, having to go to tech negotiation to pick it up. And anyways, we wouldn't have enough even like that. We would need some more. So I think for now, we'll do signaturing. We have Glimpse the Path as well, actually. But I kind of want that spice, obviously, for this. Maybe we pick up some extra spice from Hagabasin. Actually, we can have some spice here from the shipping truck. Do we do that first thing? With Dune the Desert Planet? Maybe we do. Yeah, let's get it behind us. Then we can trigger Glimpse the Path and Signaturing. We can get that alliance. Just needed to make sure we get that point, because that's one certainty we can have right now. And that is the other certainty, but playing the Signaturing will be easy and doable for sure. Glimpse the Path we can probably play before playing our next agent turn. Although, to be honest, signaturing and diplomacy, probably two hardy warriors, trying to commit as much as possible in the conflict, will be our best shot. Or maybe, if we see that Dessia seems to be winning it, maybe we should wait for the next conflict. Although it might not be 2 victory points. And it might just not happen at all, because let's see what Armand does as well, but he probably will get Spice Must Flow this round. And if he goes to False Space, for instance, it's a clear indication he can most likely finish the game right there. We could actually do another interesting play instead. First signet ring to get that point. Then if open, diplomacy to secrets puts us here, and then quid pro quo would give us the alliance. But it feels like everyone's listening to me. Like each time I'm talking about a plan, we're getting one less option. And that's another point for him. That's not great. Yeah, we need to fight for that conflict for sure. Let's see how much we can bring in with 2 agents. Hopefully, should I first go to Hardy Warriors? Because technically, Dessia can go there and she's our biggest threat. So let's maybe do that first. Although I'd like Kartag for also the intrigue card. And it will most likely be taken. Maybe I go to Kartag up first. Let's see. The only one able to go to Hardy Warriors is Dessia. And she might just not do that. Oh, Chom shares. We talked about glimpsing the path first, but seems I forgot that. Anyways, the signet ring was a must to get that point here. So that was something we had to do. And it seems she's not going to Hardy Warriors, so it could work for us. She's at 16. We can bring in 8 more, so we would also be at 16 and not even be able to do anything else about it. Well, she has that deck. Not great. That Chom shares we received a bit late as well. Didn't really manage to plan for that. And there is no way for us to get additional Solari right now. There's not really anything we want to glimpse anyways. That deck is a bit useless for us. Nothing we want there. Menta. We could pick up the Menta to just see what is revealed and if... Well, actually, no, best we can do is just match her. So that's not really useful anyways. So there's not really much useful for us to do anyways. Should we still pick up a deck? No, there's nothing for us. I mean, there is a detonation devices, but we don't win that conflict anyways. Maybe we win the next one though, if there is a next one. He's got 4 cards. No, he went to High Council. Didn't see that, so he's definitely getting Spice Must Flow right now. And Dessia winning that conflict would mean she ends up on 7 at least. Yeah, we've been... We have been ending in trouble here. Oh, he had that Bene Gesserit sister, I didn't see it. So annoying, I thought we had a glimpse of hope there, but it doesn't seem so. I think we're done for here. I mean, maybe we end up third if Paul wins the conflict, which is a bit sad for us to hope for. But I think that's it. I mean, there's nothing we can do here, right? Could still glimpse the path. The thing is, it costs us 1 water. Not sure we want to do that. I mean, it costs us 1 spice, which is obviously a tiebreaker, but we would lose it most likely anyways. Let's just send in troops. Let's see, I mean, a staged incident or something could make us maybe end up second, win on it. I mean, end up third on a tie, which is a bit the best we can hope for right now. That Chom shares, there's nothing we can do to trigger it. Can gain 1 influence, but again, that's just spending our tiebreaker. So, it's a bit of a shame. Not the best game for sure. Let's buy 1 just for the sake of it, emptying that pile. Nobody winning those victory points. Let's see if there is any endgame related cards. No. So that means we are third. We kinda limited the damage at the end, although we were obviously hoping for more. But anyways, that means we stay stable with our points, or with our stars, should I say. We are still with the platinum rank, 4 stars away from diamond. So yeah, thank you very much for following. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you very soon, and yeah, have a good one. Bye bye.